Most coaches, agency owners, and founders think YouTube is just about posting videos, growing their subscriber count, and maybe getting some clients after they go viral or hit something like 10,000 views. But that is completely ass backwards. I've signed multiple clients for my own channel, and all of my videos have under 200 views. And one of my clients, Adrian, he's collected over $5,000 from only posting 3 videos. And again, they all have a small amount of views. They're under 300 views. YouTube is not about going viral. When it's built correctly, it is the single most powerful client acquisition system for coaches, agency owners, and founders. And in this free course that I'm giving you, I'm gonna prove it to you. All right, guys, throughout this free course video, here's what you can expect to get out of it. You'll be getting the complete YouTube system I use to turn content into booked calls and closed clients. You'll be learning the 3-part framework that makes strangers trust you before they ever even hop on a call. You'll be getting my content strategy, so you'll be able to create content that separates buyers from browsers, because most of your competitors are making videos for the wrong people. And then I'll show you how to use YouTube not only for inbound leads, but also as leverage for outbound, which is how I started when my channel was tiny, and my channel is still tiny, so I'm still using this method to this day. It's the exact same system I use with myself and my clients, and it works even if you're starting at zero. Right now, there are 2 groups of coaches, founders, and agency owners creating content. Group 1 is 90% of the market. They treat every platform the same. They post a quick tip on LinkedIn, they chop it up for TikTok, maybe upload it to YouTube Shorts. They're chasing volume, hoping something sticks. Group 2, they build content ecosystems, and they're the ones who are quietly signing the highest paying clients. Now, here's the key difference. Group 2, they understand YouTube is not a funnel. Funnels die. YouTube is an ecosystem that feeds your funnel. So think about it. TikTok gives you 15 seconds. LinkedIn maybe gives you 3 seconds of someone scrolling past your post. But YouTube, you get 8 to 12 minutes of undivided attention. That is not content. That is parasocial relationship building. By the end of the 10-minute video, they don't feel like they're watching a stranger. They feel like they know you. And when that person books a call, they're already halfway sold. My client Adrian recently told me, he said, when I got on the call with this one prospect, they said they already felt like they knew him, and it was the easiest close he's ever had. But here's where this gets even more powerful, and it's something that most people completely miss. Even when you're starting out with a tiny channel, YouTube becomes leverage for everything else you're doing. Instead of sending cold DMs that say, hey, I help coaches get more clients, which gets ignored, you send a message that says, hey, I just recorded this breakdown of the exact challenge you mentioned in your post. Thought it might be helpful for you. Now you're not pitching them, you're helping them. You're demonstrating competence before you ever get on a call, which is huge. We're in a trust recession. Nobody trusts anyone, so you really need to show that you're competent and not just a scammer. And this transforms cold outreach into warm relationship building. Every video you create becomes an asset that works both inbound and outbound. That's the difference between chasing attention and building belief. Okay, now here's the overview of the framework, because you're probably watching this wondering, how the hell do I actually build this system? Most people think it's complicated. They think that they need some fancy equipment, professional editing, or some algorithm hack. But after working with clients and building my own channel, I've broken it down into 3 core steps that anyone can follow. So the first thing is the avatar workshop. This is the foundational research, so you know exactly what problems to solve and what content will actually convert viewers into clients. Most people skip this and wonder why their videos got views, but absolutely no calls. The second part is inversion thinking and blue ocean strategy. This is how you turn those pain points into unique video ideas your competitors aren't touching. Instead of copying what everyone else does, you find white space in your market. And then the last thing is the 3-layer funnel system. This is how you structure your content library to nurture people from strangers into paying clients, even with a small channel. If you nail just the first step, you'll already be ahead of 90% of coaches and founders on YouTube. But when you put all 3 together, you've got a machine that works around the clock. I'm going to be giving you actual templates, frameworks, and processes I use, so by the end of this, you'll have everything you need to start building your own system. Okay, so step 1, the avatar workshop. Let's dive into this. Most coaches and founders say that they know their audience, they help agency owners, or I help coaches. That's surface level demographic stuff that tells you nothing about what content will actually convert. Real clarity is psychological clarity. It's knowing their exact pains, what keeps them up at 2 a.m., their desires, what they desperately want but can't figure it out, their fears, what they are trying to avoid at all costs. The psychological profile becomes the foundation for every single video video you create. All right, so here is the exact process. So first thing you want to do is competitor research. Get a list of your top 10 competitors on YouTube. Just search your niche, open their channels, and note down the links. But don't just look at the biggest channels, look for quickly growing ones as well. Go to their most popular tab and screenshot their top 8 to 12 videos. You're looking for a pattern between the topics that perform best in your niche. And then you want to do your ICP breakdown. So break down your ICP's demographics and psychographics, their age, location, income. That's the basic stuff, but the psychographics are where the money is made. You can literally just use ChatGPT for this. Go type in something like break down the pains, desires, and fears of a 30-year-old agency owner making 25K per month who wants to scale but struggles with consistent lead flow. And then the third part is content mining. So ask yourself, where does your ICP spend time online? Is it Twitter? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Discord servers? Or potentially is it your existing clients in your Slack channels? They literally give you content ideas every single day through their questions, comments, and conversations. You need to start documenting all of this, and then create a simple Google Doc and start collecting the questions they ask in the DMs, the comments on your posts, problems they mention on sales calls, objections that they bring up, things that they wish they understood better. And that list becomes your video library. Every pain point, every question, every frustration, that's a video idea that will actually convert because it speaks directly to what they're already thinking about. Step 2 is inversion thinking in Blue Ocean. So we're going to use what I call inversion thinking to turn those insights we just collected into content that actually stands out. Now, if you don't know what inversion thinking means, just think of it about reverse engineering. So thinking about a problem and then solving it backwards. We'll talk about it more shortly. Now, this is something I see a lot of people fucking up with, and I'm not kidding because this changes everything. Most creators are asking the wrong question. They're thinking, what should I teach? What step-by-step tutorial should I give out? But the right question really is, what's keeping my ICP stuck right now? What's keeping them awake at 2 a.m.? That is something they deeply care about. People have access to all of the information on the internet already. If you're just giving out more tips, tricks, and value, they will get it from you. They will get it from the next person. You don't stand out in their mind. You need to target their direct problems, their pain points that are actually causing them to be stressed out. And then you act as a natural bridge to the solution, right? So once you ask the right question, then you flip that pain into content. If they're struggling to book calls, the videos become the new way coaches are booking calls in 2025. If they think YouTube takes too long, the video becomes why YouTube works faster for high ticket clients than you think. If they're overwhelmed by content creation, the video becomes how to create a month of content in one afternoon. This is inversion thinking, starting with the problem and then working backwards towards the solution. Now, these are all examples of videos that I would make. You would just do the same thing in your own niche. When you apply this to your competitor research, you find what I call your blue ocean. After you have identified those top competitors, don't just look at their titles and thumbnails, actually watch their most popular videos and then ask yourself these questions. What are they doing right that I can adapt in my own way? What are they not addressing that my audience needs? What perspective am I bringing that's different? And what do I wish creators in my niche talked about that they don't currently do? Maybe your competitors never show their failures or mistakes. That becomes your angle, radical transparency. Maybe they don't address specific objections your audience has. That is your white space to enter in and handle that objection. Maybe they're all talking about the same tactics that worked from 2022 when the market has evolved. That's your opportunity to offer a fresh perspective. You want to find the gap between what your competitors are doing and what your audience actually needs. That gap is your blue ocean where there's demand but limited supply. Obviously, don't try and out-beast Mr. Beast. Don't try and be a smaller version of the biggest channel in your niche. Find the angle nobody else is taking and completely own it for yourself. This is how you stand out without needing a massive channel or any viral content. Okay, now let's talk about proven titles and thumbnails. We get into the packaging. This is super fucking important, and it literally determines whether anyone watches your content or not. Because you can have the best, most valuable content, but if your packaging isn't good, no one's gonna click on it to watch. So your thumbnail gets attention, your title gets the click, your hook keeps them watching. If any of these fail, your content fails. So here are some title templates. Like, let me give you the exact templates I use. You can screenshot these. I'm not gonna keep them behind like an email wall. I'm not gonna collect your email for it. So I'm not gonna read every single one of these. Just go ahead and screenshot. These aren't random. Each one triggers specific psychological responses that make people want to click. Like I said, screenshot it. All I ask is you subscribe to the channel for more free sauce like this, because I'm not gatekeeping shit, I'm giving out value weekly. Okay, Hope you screenshot it. So here's the thumbnail strategy that we need to talk about. Thumbnails are 80% strategy, 20% design. The strategy makes people curious. The design just makes it look clean. So here are the rules that actually matter. You want to keep it simple, maximum 3 elements, your face, text, and maybe 1 visual element. Create contrast with your colors. If your background is dark, make your text bright. If you're wearing a dark shirt, use a light background. Show the outcome or transformation. Left side where they are, right side where they could be, or show yourself looking confident next to the result that they want. Use familiar elements for business content. If they use Stripe for payments, include the Stripe interface when talking about revenue. Visual familiarity builds trust. And you also want to make your text large enough to read on mobile. Most people are watching on their phones, so if they can't read your thumbnail text on a small screen, you've already lost them. And then you also want to ask yourself this question: what question does this thumbnail make the viewer want answered? Then make sure your title answers that question in a compelling way. In a pro tip that most people miss, you want to create 2 to 3 thumbnail options for every video. Upload them and test which performs better after 24 to 48 hours. Small changes in thumbnails can double your click-through rate. And you also don't need to guess on concepts. Like we said, when we look at competitors' channels, we can already see what thumbnails are working best for them, and we can kind of iterate on those designs already. All right, now step 4, the 3-layer content funnel. Now we get into the system that actually converts viewers into clients, the 3-layer content funnel. Most people think YouTube funnels work like traditional marketing, like funnels linear, predictable, top to bottom, but YouTube is different. People binge content, they skip around, they discover you through different entry points. That's why you need 3 layers of content working together as an ecosystem. So the first layer is the top of funnel broad attraction content. So the first one is story videos. This is where you can post personal journeys, transformations that connect emotionally with your viewers. The second one is motivational content, inspirational pieces that address universal entrepreneurial challenges, and then broad business advice, so general guidance applicable to a wide range of business owners. These are story videos, motivational content, broad business advice. The goal is awareness and discovery. So you want to think about titles like How I Went From Broke to 6 Figures, or The Brutal Truth About Entrepreneurship Nobody Talks About. This content has the largest TAM, the total addressable market. It can reach beyond just your specific niche because the topics are universally relevant to entrepreneurs. So this type of content right here, this is why you see like all of the gurus per se go buy the Lambo and post like vlog videos of them in some high-rise apartment in Miami, because they're attracting a broad amount of viewers. And those type of viewers aren't necessarily good because chances are they're dreamers. They just want to see a luxurious lifestyle. They don't actually have thousands of dollars to pay you. But when we make top of funnel videos that are actually targeting, high-level entrepreneurs, this is a great way to get attention to our channel from a lot of people who are just in business and are looking for new ways to grow. That's the right type of top of funnel audience we want to attract. All right, now layer 2, the middle of funnel authority and framework content. This is where you demonstrate competence. You're showing your methodology, your frameworks, your unique approach. So think my exact client acquisition system or the 3-step framework for scaling to 50K months. This content says I don't just have experience, I have a system that works. And these types of videos are methodology videos, so detailed explanations of your unique approach to solving specific problems, the specific problems you just found out in the research we did earlier. Then you want to do framework breakdowns, so step-by-step systems that demonstrate your organized thinking and expertise. And then process walkthroughs, so behind the scenes look at how you implement solutions for these clients. So we not only let them know that we're problem aware, we also let them know in the middle of funnel that we know how to solve the problems that they're facing. All right, now we have the third and final layer of the funnel, which is bottom of funnel, which is your proof and deep insights. So these are case studies, client interviews, detailed breakdowns of your process. This is where you prove your methods actually work. So the solutions you gave out in your middle of funnel content, this is where you prove those solutions actually work. And you can make videos like how my client went from 10K to 30K in 90 days, or behind the scenes of a 25K launch. You can do client interviews, case studies, deep dives, direct testimonials from satisfied clients explaining their results, detailed analysis of specific client journeys and outcomes, comprehensive breakdowns of your methodology in action. But here's what a lot of people miss. The layers don't work in isolation. They work together as an ecosystem. Someone might discover you through your top of funnel story video, then binge 3 of your middle of funnel funnel framework videos, then watch a bottom of funnel case study, or, vice versa, the other way around. By the time they book a call with you, they've spent an hour with you. They already trust your process. They're not a cold lead anymore. They're a warm prospect who's pre-sold on your expertise. And the key insight is you don't need massive view counts for this to work. You just need the right people to find your ecosystem and engage with it. That's how my client was able to close $5,000 worth of deals with under 200 views, because the right person found the right content at the right time. So the quality of audience beats the quantity every single time. All right, now let's talk about the script retention structure. This is how you keep people watching, because click-through rate gets them to your video, but retention determines whether YouTube shows it to more people. The algorithm doesn't care how often you post if nobody watches past 30 seconds. So first, you want to start off with your hook formula: proof, promise, plan. Proof establishes credibility immediately. So you want to start off with, I've signed multiple clients from videos with under 300 views. Promise, tell them what they're going to get in this video. I'll show you the exact system that makes it possible. Then give them a roadmap with the plan. We'll cover 3 steps, and by the end, you'll have everything you need to start. So you can see in my hook, I did the same exact thing. I am practicing what I preach here. Then your body structure: set up tension, resolution, introduce the concept or problem, explain why it matters and what goes wrong if they ignore it, and then give them the resolution to it, so your solution or your insights. You also want to rehook every 60-90 seconds with stories, surprising statistics, and preview of what's coming. So you can use an example like, but here's what most people don't realize. And then value distribution. You want to front load value. Give them something actionable in the first 3 minutes, then promise even better stuff is coming. This creates micro payoffs throughout your entire video. People stay engaged because they're constantly getting value. And by the way, this takes a lot of effort. So this is exactly what I do for clients to make it easier for you. If you'd rather have my team handle the strategy and scripting, so you just focus on recording, there's a link in the description to book a call, but let's keep going. All right, so let me show you this system in action with some real examples here. On my own channel, I've consistently signed clients from small viewed videos, not because they went viral, but because the right people found them and connected with the content. The key insight is this: you don't need thousands of random views, you need dozens of the right views from people who actually have the problem you solve and the budget to pay for your solution. One of my clients right here, Adrian, closed $5,000 from just 3 videos with under 200 total views. He did this because those videos we created together spoke directly to his ideal client's pain points, demonstrated his expertise, and made it easy for prospects to take the next step. And you can see right here, collected cash. I've booked multiple calls through my own channel. And that's the difference between creating content for views versus creating content for clients. Most competitors are optimized for subscribers, likes, comments from people who will never buy, but you need to optimize for qualified leads, booked calls, and closed clients. This is why the hybrid approach I mentioned earlier is so powerful. Even when your channel is small, you can use your videos and outbound to build trust and credibility. Instead of cold messaging prospects with generic pitches, you can send them specific videos that address their exact challenges. That positions you as a helpful expert, not just another salesperson in their DMs. All right, so here's your implementation roadmap. If you're starting from zero, here's your exact 90-day roadmap. And I don't just mean $0 here, I mean just starting on YouTube from scratch. So what you want to do in the first 30 days is post 1 video per week, 8 to 12 minutes long, focus on middle and bottom of funnel content that speaks directly to your ICP's pain points. Don't worry about subscribers or view counts yet. Focus on retention and engagement. Are people watching to the end? Are they commenting with real questions? Use every video you create here in your outbound efforts. Send them to prospects who have expressed interest or mentioned related challenges. Now, after your first month, you want to do your optimization. So double down on whatever format and topics generated the best retention and feedback. If framework videos work better than story videos, make more frameworks. Start documenting what times you post, get the best initial engagement, test different thumbnail styles, and see what gets higher click-through rates. Begin building your content calendar around proven topics that work. And now from the second to the third month, you want to develop a repeatable content system. Maybe that's 1 authority framework video plus 1 proof case study video per week. Start measuring the metrics that actually matter: calls booked, revenue generated, and lead quality. Subscribers and views will come with consistency, I promise you that. But focus on business outcomes first. Are you getting on more sales calls? Are prospects more warmed up when they book with you? you, here are the key metrics to track. So 35 to 45% average view duration, aim for this percentage to ensure YouTube promotes your content. The quality, comment engagement, look for real questions versus generic phrases like nice video. Responses, so DM effectiveness, track responses when you're sharing your videos. And then obviously the most important, calls booked. The ultimate measure of content effectiveness is how many people are booking in calls after watching your content. The goal is not to become a YouTuber. The goal is to build a client acquisition system that compounds over time. Okay, so now here is the outbound leverage strategy, where I don't see a lot of people on YouTube or that has a content agency actually giving out this sauce. So hopefully you find it valuable. Let me show you how to use YouTube for outbound leverage, because this is what makes the system work even when your channel is tiny. Most people think of YouTube as purely inbound. You post content, hope people find it, and maybe they reach out. But that's thinking too small. If you don't already have a massive audience on like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, where you can kind of funnel that audience to your YouTube channel, you can't purely rely on inbound yet. Now, as you grow and you get more attention, more followers across your platforms, you can kind of fall back on the outbound because you will start generating inbound traffic consistently. But a lot of people watching this video probably aren't the biggest creators, so you need to start thinking bigger than posting and praying. Every video you create is an asset you can deploy in your outreach efforts. And here's exactly how to do it. First is your timing strategy. Send videos after your first touch point. Instead of following up with, hey, just checking in, or just following up, or just bumping this in your inbox, send them a video that addresses something they mentioned. Send videos before sales calls. So you want to have this in your Calendly workflows. Hey, I recorded this breakdown of a challenge you mentioned, or hey, watch this before our call so we can dive deeper into the solutions. This is actually absolutely essential to have in your workflows. All right, then next is your message framework. So you can say something like, hey, name, I saw your post about specific challenge. I actually recorded a video breaking down this exact problem and framework for solving it. Figured it might be helpful. Here's a link. And this is why it's so important to like figure out what questions, what problems, what concerns your ICP has, so you can make content around it and then send them those videos. This shit works like bread and butter. I'm trying to tell you, you just need to lock in and execute. Next message you can send is, hi, name, I recorded this for another client who had the same challenge you mentioned. Thought you might find the strategy useful. And what this accomplishes is you demonstrate competence before the sales conversation. They see how you think and solve problems. You handle common objections in advance. If they watch your video about why your approach works, you don't have to re-explain it on the call. You build trust through consistent value. Even if they don't buy immediately, they remember you as someone who helped them. And this is why I call it the hybrid system. You're getting inbound benefits from outbound efforts. You're literally mogging the people who are just sending regular DMs. They're getting ignored, but you're sending them videos, and even if they don't respond but click to watch your video, they're going to see your competence displayed to them, where that's not a possibility if you only send them a DM and they just ignored you. So this is super value. This strategy alone has made me thousands of dollars through like LinkedIn DMs. Okay, so here's where we are. You now have the complete system, the avatar workshop to identify exactly what content will convert your ideal clients, inversion thinking to create unique angles your competitors aren't covering, proven title and thumbnail templates to get clicks, the 3-layer funnel system that nurtures strangers into paying clients, script structures that keep people watching, an implementation roadmap that works even when you're starting from zero, and a hybrid strategy that leverages YouTube for both inbound and outbound results. This is not some theory. This is the exact system I use and teach to clients. Now, you have two choices here. Option one, take this information, get excited for about a week, then go back to hoping your next LinkedIn post or Instagram reel somehow generates consistent leads. Or option two, you build a YouTube system that makes strangers trust you, positions you as the authority in your space, and fills your pipeline with both inbound and outbound opportunities. The difference isn't just revenue, it's positioning. It's the difference between chasing prospects and attracting them. Option one keeps you competing on price and availability. Option two has prospects coming to you pre-sold on your expertise. Coaches and founders who commit to the system for 6 to 12 months consistently dominate their markets. They literally change their business just by implementing this YouTube acquisition system. The ones who dabble for a few weeks stay stuck in the same patterns. If you want my team to handle the research, scripting, editing, packaging, and optimization so you just show up and record, that's exactly what we do with clients. There's a link in my description to book a strategy call. We'll look at your specific situation, your goals, and see if it makes sense to work together. But whether you work with me or build this yourself, the important thing is that you start. Because while you're deciding, your competitors are already building their ecosystems. The market rewards consistency and depth, not viral moments and surface level tips. So start now. Your future clients are already looking for someone like you. The question is, will they find you first or will they find your competitor who's already built their system? I hope you guys got some value from this free course. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.